Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phay, and welcome back to the channel. You know, whoever invented the air conditioner, he was pretty cool. Today, we're taking a look at Concordia, an oldie but a goodie from Rio Grande Games. Concordia from Rio Grande Games is a strategic economics game for 2 to 5 players set in the Roman era. In this game, you're going to be playing cards, trying to gather resources, trying to build new settlements, collect money, basically trying to get the most points and see who's going to win at the end of the game. Now, this is an older game. It came out in about 2013, I believe. I haven't played it since like 2018. It's been a long time playing, and I wanted to play it again. Thankfully, my buddy Brett happened to have this game, brought it over the other night. We sat down for a nice 4-player game. Now, it's an older game, but is it still worth it? And what do I think? Let's find out. So to play Concordia, what you're going to do is figure out who's going to be the first player. Okay. Once the game is set up, the first player, what they're going to do is they're going to take one of the cards that's in their hand and they're going to play one of those cards for the ability. Once they've completed their full turn, then it's going to keep going around and around and around. Okay. So let me describe the cards that you're going to start the game with. You have the Architect. You can play the Architect, and that's going to let you move one of your colonists. Now, the number of movement points you're going to get is equal to the number of colonists you have. And your colonists on the land and the colonists, your ships are one and the same. It's just one can only move on land, one can only move on the water. Now, they start in Rome, so it costs 1 movement point to always move them out of the city. And anytime you build a new colonist, they always start in a city and always cost them 1 to move out. After that, they only stay on the roads or in the waterways. They never go into the towns again. Okay. So your movement points is equal to the number you have. You're going to start off the game with 2. So technically, you can move your ship 2 times. You can move your land guy 2 times, or you can move them 1 apiece and move them out. Okay. But once they move, then you can actually build. All right. And so to build, you're always going to be able to build adjacent to the 2 locations that your colonists are equal to. And all you have to do is pay the resources for it and then pay the cost. Now, there is a card that comes with the game that tells you what all the costs are. And the only thing that's going to go up is if there's already houses already on those locations, then you have to pay additional money. So the first house gets built, you just look at that resource card and that tells you how much money. And then for every house on there, you have to pay even more. So like, for example, if you want to build just like a regular brick house, it costs you 1 money. But if there's already a house on there and you're going to build the second one, well, it's going to cost you 2 money and then 3 money, 4 money, and 5 money. You understand. Okay. But that's the Architect card. Now, whenever you play your cards, you put them in a face-up pile, and that's going to be your discard pile. And that's important because every time you play another card, it goes over the top of that, and that's what your active card is, because there is a card called the Diplomat that somebody can play. Now, when you play a Diplomat card, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to use an opponent's face-up personality card that's in their discard pile. So you always want to know what the face-up card is. And that's all it does. They're just going to pick whichever card it is, and they're just going to do the actions on that card. You have the Senator card. The Senator card is going to let you purchase up to 2 personality cards from the row. Now, to purchase the personality cards, they're all going to have a cost on the bottom of the card that's going to show what good it takes to purchase those. It's 1 or 2 goods to do that. And then below it on the very bottom, there's also going to be an additional cost that you may have to pay. Cards on the far left, you don't have to pay any additional cost, but the further to the right you go, you start have to pay silk or additional resources or something else. But you can purchase up to 2. Once you've purchased your 2 cards, then you're going to slide all the cards down. You're going to refill the row. Okay. You have the Prefect card. The Prefect card is going to allow you to turn over one of the active province tokens. So in the upper left-hand corner of the board, you're going to see all the provinces, and they're going to have a token on them based on what the highest producing resource is for that particular province. Okay. So what you do is, whatever that particular resource is, you're going to flip it over, and then all of the houses that are in that province are going to also produce as well. So if you can utilize one of the locations where you have a bunch of houses, that's great because you're going to get that resource plus your house resources. But if other people have houses there, they're going to get the resources there as well. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can also reactivate all of the provinces. So when you flip them over, then they're going to have coin values on the back of them. So what you can do is if there's a whole bunch of coins there, you can say, oh, well, I'm going to use my prefect and I'm going to turn over all the cards. I'm going to take all that money, flip them all back, and now people can start producing those locations again. Now there is the one card, I can't remember what it's called, the Prefectus Magnus or something like that. I always forget what that card's called. But that's always going to go to the whoever is the last player in the game. Okay, it's kind of a help catch up mechanism. But if you play the prefect card for to take the goods from the province tiles, okay, that's going to allow you to take an additional good from that particular tile. Okay, so whatever the tile produces, you're going to collect 2 plus your houses. If you use the prefect tile for just getting the cash bonus, okay, then you don't get the extra for that. But if you use it for the tiles, then you're going to pass that, and that's going to go counterclockwise around the board. So that card is going to keep going around and around and around backwards, opposite direction of what the player action is going to go. You have the Mercator card. The Mercator is going to get you 3 money. Terry, I always have a hard time saying that. It's going to get you 3 money, and then you can take up the 2 actions, trade good actions of your choice. Now, how the 2 actions work is you're either selling 2 goods, you're purchasing 2 different goods. Okay, you're purchasing 2 different goods, or you're selling 1 good and buying 1 good, but it can only ever work with 2 different goods. So either, like I said, buying 2, selling 2, or selling 1, buying another. And the number you sell and buy doesn't matter. So say you have 3 silk and you want to sell 3 silk for $21. Perfect. You sell those 3 silk for $21, and then you can buy, like I say, 4 food. All right, for your $16, and you get, and then you get a little bit of change back. Okay. The last card is going to be your Tribune card. Now, the Tribune card is going to let you take all of your personality cards back. Okay. And what that means is you're going to put that basically down on your pile as the cards are being used. And then you're going to grab that entire pile and you're going to count how many cards are in it and include the Tribune card when you count them. And every card above 3, you're going to get 1 money for. So if you have 4 cards, you get 1 money. All right. If you have 7 cards, you're going to get 4 money. But now you have your hand of cards back. Another thing to mention too is when you play the center of the card and you buy cards from that top row, those cards go straight into your hand, so you can actually start using them on the following round. Okay. The other thing to note too is all of the cards on the very bottom, you're going to see they're related to some sort of, like Jupiter or Saturn or Mars, one of the constellations. All right. And what that's for is at the end of the game, those are going to be multipliers for when you're doing points. All right. So what's going to happen is you're going to go round and round and round. And once one of 2 things happens, once every card has been purchased from the row from the center actions and everything, so there's no more cards to buy, or one person has built their 12th house and put it out on the board. When one of those 2 conditions happen, then everybody else except whoever triggered the end game is going to get 1 more turn. But whoever triggered the end game is going to get the I think it's is it a prefect card, or I can't remember what it is. My brain today. I need more stuff out here. It's the card is going to be worth 7 victory points at the end of the game. All right. So if you triggered it, you're going to get that card, but everybody else gets 1 more turn to try to get as many victory points as possible. Once that happens, then what you're going to do is you're going to total up all of your victory points. And how you're totaling up all your victory points is you're looking at all of the cards, and you're going to use this card right here. And you basically just go from the top and work your way down to the bottom, and it's going to tell you what you're going to get money for. You follow all that down, you count up all your guys, you figure out what all your multipliers are, and then you just move your token around the board so that way you're adding up everything as you go. Once everybody's figured out the victory points, whoever happens to have the most victory points wins Concordia. All right, folks, that was about as basic an explanation of this game as I can come up with. I just kind of want to get you just a rough idea how it is, because it'll make some of my final thoughts make a little bit more sense. Now, a lot of you may have played this game once or twice or 100 times. Some of you may not have ever played this game. I don't really know. This game's been out for, 12 years now, I think, something like that. It came out in 2013. I haven't played it since 2018, and I played it a couple times way back then. I remember loving the game from what I can remember of the game, and always wanted to play it again. So thankfully, my buddy Brett, he decided to bring it over. We had a nice 4-player game, and you know what? I'm going to tell you, this game's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of thinking in this game, but the cool thing is, it's not a luck based game because you're not rolling any dice or anything else. It's all based on the strategy of your cards and trying to counter what everybody else is doing. Now, there's some pros and cons to this as well. One of the things, and me and my group, we've talked about this a few different times. There's definitely a first player advantage to this game. And there's definitely, if you're the last player, and especially even if it's in a 4 or especially a 5-player game, you definitely have a disadvantage. But there's a couple things you can do to counteract that. And you guys probably already know this, but I'm going to bring them up as well. Some of them I didn't even think about one of them until last night when we actually played this game. But usually, what you're trying to do on your very first play of the game is because you're starting off with very limited resources, and when you look at how many houses and everything that you can build, okay, you have the ability to build potentially 2 houses off the get-go. If you can move one of your colonists to a location where you can build a brick house and you can build any other house. So if you can get between 2 of those, then you can build the 2 houses. And the nice thing about that is it's already going to get you 2 different resources. Now, if you can do it to where you can say get a silk and a brick and turn 1, that's fantastic. Now, where the problem lies is by the time you get to the 4th player, the 4th player doesn't have too many locations they can go. A lot of the good ones are already taken up because when you're moving your colonists on the board, you can move over other colonist pieces, but you can never land in the same space as a colonist. So if somebody just moves a colonist into a spot because, well, maybe they can't afford to build, but they can maybe next turn or in 2 turns, they can just move their guy there and they can just take that away from you. All right. So one of the things that you can do to kind of counter that if you're a 4th or 5th player is, it may sound silly, but play your Tribune card turn 1. All right. Tribune card is going to allow you to bring all your cards back. It's not going to gain you any money, but you have the resources to where you can actually build a colonist. So if on turn 1 you can do that, then when it comes back around to you, well, you now have 3 colonists out there, so you're now moving 3 spaces. You can get around the board a little bit faster. And in the subsequent rounds, that's actually going to help you quite a bit more because the more movement you can actually get on the board, the better it's going to be. Because a lot of times trying to get to those key locations, you always want to try to get to locations where if you can always build 2 locations at a time. Maximize your building efforts, and that's the best way to do it. And that Tribune card playing on turn 1, if you're the 4th or 5th player, it's a good thing to do. Now, if the 4th player plays the Tribune card and you're the 5th player, you can play the Tribune card. It's probably going to help some, but at that point, yeah, I feel sorry for you for the 5th player. I like this game. It's a really fun game, but I will say this. I've played this game. I think every time I played it, I've played this at 4 players. I would play it with less, but I do not think I would ever play this with more. I don't think I would ever play this with 5 players just because of that. Because you're already as the 4th player, you're already getting hammered just a little bit on what you can do. As a matter of fact, I think in the game that we played, player 1 won, player 2 took 2nd place, player 3 took 3rd, and player 4, well, that was me. I lost. But that's how it is when I play games. And I don't mind. I just have a lot of fun when I'm playing them. But as far as the gameplay goes with Concordia, it is absolutely phenomenal. The puzzle in this game, trying to figure out the best way to move my colonists across the board, and where I'm going to be able to get my resources. Because the thing is when all of those tiles are placed on the board, they all have a letter on the back of them, like A, B, C, and D, I think it is. They all, and it tells you, you're randomizing them. So like the A's going to A's, B's going to B's, da 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 da. And then you flip them all over. So the goods in the locations, every time you play the game, is going to be totally different. So the items that you're putting up in, the upper left-hand corner in that civilization section, I can't remember what they call that either. So wherever the tokens are up there, those are all going to be random as well because they're going to match whatever the locations are because they always have whatever the highest value good is in that particular province. Then that's the token that those have. So you're always going to be able to get that highest value one. But just trying to figure out that puzzle to play this game is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely love that piece of this game. You got the cards that are coming down that you can buy with your senator cards, and you're trying to tie those in to with wherever you're building your houses on the board. Because there's some cards in the game. It's the Minerva cards. There's I think five or six different Minerva cards in the game, and those are going to give you bonuses based on the types of houses you build on the types of locations. So like you may have the Minerva card that says, hey, you know what, I'm going to give you extra bonuses if you build all your houses on brick houses. Great, you're going to get a lot of bonuses in the game, but during the game you're not going to get too many resources. And that's the other big thing with this is you have to try to balance where you build your houses on the board with the cards that you're getting, so that when you do that province board and you take the goods there, you're also trying to take them from your locations as well, and that's what's going to give you those bonus goods. Now your board's only got a spot for so many goods, and it's already got 4 spots filled up with 4 different colonists you can put on the board. So you can have a total of 6 colonists. Okay. And I think you have you can start off the game with like it's 8 or 10 different goods. Now the thing is if you get goods and your board's already full, you can't take those goods. So goods that are on your board, unless you spend those to build houses or you use the Mercator action to sell them, they're stuck on your board. So it's not like you can say, oh, well, I get goods for doing this, and I'm just going to dump these. I'm going to put these goods in this place. You don't get to do that. You have to utilize the goods that are on your board. So if your board's entirely full, and then all of a sudden you decide, well, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and take the action and get the goods from up there, it's not going to do you any good because you get 0. You get nothing. You don't even get the opportunity to get any. If you have 2 spaces open and you collect 3 goods, you get to pick the 2 of the 3 that you want, but then the other one goes away. Okay, that's a fantastic piece of this game. The other thing I really like too is on the particular cards, the cards have numbering on the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and there's a stack of each one of them. And depending on the number of players you have in the game, depends on what stacks you use. So if you're playing a 4-player game, you use stacks 1 through 4 and ignore number 5. So you shuffle them all up, and you're starting off that board to buy them with your era 1 cards. So in our 4-player game, we had 4 eras worth of cards, and those 4th era cards actually are a lot nicer and a little better, for what you're doing, and maybe for some of your bonuses and stuff like that, from what I've seen. Okay, but the thing is you're really looking at the constellation bonuses at the bottom. You're trying to really pair those up, and that's one of the critical key things to this game is you really need to pair up those constellation bonuses you get on the bottom of the cards with what you're doing on the board, because when you're figuring out your victory points, the cards themselves, like for example, let's take a look at this Mars card right here. Okay, so this Mars card basically says I'm going to have 2 victory points for every colonist that I have on the board. All right, well, if you have 4 colonists on the board, you have 8 victory points. Let's say you have 4 of these colonist cards or these Mars cards. Okay, well, this is your multiplier. So once you figure out how many points you have, so if you have 8 points, but 4 of these, that's 4 times 8. Okay, or what is it? For 1632 points. Okay, so the more of these cards you have in sets, that's going to be your multiplier, and that's what you need to really get your points. But I'll tell you what, this is a game. It's been out for a long time. It may not be without its flaws, but there's a reason. I think it's as at the time of this recording, I think it's number 26 on BGG rating. It's super high up there. It's always been high up there. This is a fantastic game. If you've never played Concordia, and you like worker placement games, Euro games, this is one of the best ones out there. I highly recommend you take a look at this game and play it. You just have to play it, because I think it's one that if you like Euro games and once you play this game, I think you're going to love this game. There's some people that aren't gonna. Okay, fully understand. As always, try before you buy. But as far as worker placement games go, I absolutely love this one. I will play this one any day of the week, even though I know I'm probably always going to be the 4th player and it's got problems. You know what? Play that Tribune card first, get that other colonist out there, and it's going to definitely help you do it. There's a lot of strategies that can be had. There's a lot of sites out there that give you different strategies. But okay, I'm ranting at this point, so there you go. Concordia, fantastic game. I cannot recommend this game enough, even though it is 12 years old. It's a good one. I say play it, and I say get it, folks. Well, thank you once again for joining me today. As always, I please ask you like these videos on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on Facebook, or even on X. And please leave me a comment on any one of those platforms, and I'll get to those comments just as soon as I can. And also, if you enjoy the content I provide here and you have not subscribed to my channel, I humbly ask you to go ahead and click on that subscription button, join my little family, and also click on that bell and be notified whenever I drop new videos. Also, if you like the videos that I provide here, I also do post videos over on the Discriminating Gamers channel. I'll do unboxing videos, I'll do reviews, and we'll even do some playthroughs over there as well. I'll leave a link down below in the details. You know, I was looking up ice cream puns on the internet, and then my computer froze.